was hugely very good until its last phase of its landing, where we could not achieve the soft landing. It landed with a higher velocity. So that we call it as crash landing. So if you look at the overall scheme of things, of reaching up to the moon, I think we have perfected it already. We have done it one time in Chandrayaan 1, second time in Chandrayaan 2, also did it in Mars orbiter mission, so there is no ambiguity. But and capturing the moon orbit as well as reducing it to 100-kilometer orbit was also perfect. And we were trying to target a landing at a particular spot, closer to the South Pole, that is 70 degrees to the South Pole. And in that doing so, we faced certain challenges. The primary issues were, one, that we had an engine. There were 5 engines which was used for giving the reduction of the velocity. It's called the retardation. These engines developed little higher thrust than that was expected. It was on the higher side, but it was still within the specifications. But when such a higher thrust was happening, the errors on account of this differential was accumulated over some period. It was called a camera coasting phase on the last phase of it. During this time, the craft is supposed to be very steady to take pictures. So we can correct it at that time. So because of that period where it was not corrected, we started correcting only at the end of it. When all the errors got accumulated, which was slightly higher than what we expected, the craft had to make very fast turns. And when it started turning very fast, its ability to turn was limited by the software, because we never expected such high rates to come. So this was the second issue. The third issue is it is yet to reach a landing point which is still far away. And we asked the craft to land only in 500 meter by 500 meter area. And the craft is trying to reach there by increasing velocity to reach there, whereas it was not having enough time to, it was almost close to the ground. So there was a contradictory requirement of reaching to the exact spot and at the same time achieving a low velocity. It became mathematically difficult for it to do it in the available time. So finally, when it actually did it, it was fell short of almost half a kilometer, and the velocity of touch was higher. So it is fundamentally, there were issues in terms of the approaches that was taken, how to correct the engine thrust dispersion by accumulating errors over a period of time, artificially limiting the ability of the vehicle to take turns and correction, and the ability to calculate time to reach the required spot, and also telling to land at the exact required spot instead of landing wherever you can safely land. So we found that we need to study this in greater detail to understand that we must give more flexibility to the craft to handle dispersions, essentially. So in nutshell, if you tell what was the problem in Chandrayaan 2, it is simple to say that the ability to handle parameter variation or dispersion was very limited.